Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I'm excited to have you join me in my little crafty corner here on the internet. My name is Hiba and this is my little journal. And today I'm going to be working in my Scrappy spiral notebook. I need to catch up. I have been very busy lately. Life has just gotten in the way, and I want to document April in my Scrappy Spiral notebook. So when I'm behind in this notebook, I usually go into the notebook, check every template, and print my photos and journaling to fit that template. And it makes the process so much easier because I think that's the not so fun process for any scrapbooker or journaler or documenter. Basically is setting everything up. And so I got that out of the way, and basically now I can play. You'll see how quick all these layouts come together just because my photos and my journaling is already printed. And because this notebook is so easy to put together, you can basically size everything and have it ready ahead of time. Anyways, as you can see, I already started with my first layout. I went ahead and stuck down my photos and my journaling. And I'm basically, well, I didn't stick down my journaling yet, but I know where it's going to sit on the spread. And since I'm using that top portion of my column for my journaling, I want to use the bottom portion for a title. And I'm going to end up stamping Game Night. You're getting a sneak peek of an upcoming stamp that's going to be in my shop very soon. It's a very cute one. And as you guys know, I love Game Night, so I had to do a Game Night stamp set. Anyways, I go ahead, stick down my journaling, and now I want to fill in my two boxes. So I start by stamping from that stamp set, Winner, Winner, Chicken Dinner. And I did a little boo-boo here where I should have stamped it like in the center of my box, not all the way to the top, because now I have this empty gap or this empty space at the bottom. So what I'm going to do to fix it is I'm going to go through my labels. I thought I would stamp Game On one of the labels. I go with this really pretty navy blue just to match my photos, but the label is too big. And so I want to share this little trick with you. So basically what I'm going to do to shrink my label and make it fit into my box is I'm going to trim right where my stamping ends. And then for the opposite side where you have the corner of your label, I trim that as well. And then I'm just gonna stick down that bigger portion of my label, and then I'm gonna grab the trimmed down portion of the opposite side of my label and stick that down to complete my smaller label. I hope I'm making sense, but I just love this trick, especially with these larger labels. I'm gonna also just add some color to that box. I add a little bit of yellow with my marker and I write in loser. Anyways, I have one more box to fill in. So I go through my tags and I found this little card that said, well, aren't you a peach? And I felt like it was the perfect card for game night because honestly, there's a lot of smack talking at game night. And I just felt like I'm just going to go with it. You can see I still go through all the tags to try to find a different one. But this one just worked well, even though I wasn't a fan of the color, but I just go with it. And I stick it down to fill in my last box. I also want to add a few stickers here and there. So I go through my sticker sheets and I was trying to find a sticker with a little bit of peach in it so it can match my card. And I found one that worked perfectly. So I end up adding it to one of my photos and basically call my layout done. And now we can move on to my second spread here in my Scrappy Spiral notebook for April. So spring is here and I am so excited. I've been spending a lot of time outside. It just helps me get out of my head. And so I have these 3 photos that are gonna fill in a few of my boxes, and I have my journaling as well. For that top box, I was thinking I would add a large title. I'm gonna try to keep these spreads as simple as possible because I want to document the memories and not overthink the process. So I am going to be stamping Spring is Here. I'm going to use 2 separate stamp sets, some more sneaks here for you. These are coming very soon to my shop, but I'm going to use two separate stamp sets to stamp spring, and I did stamp it in this beautiful mossy green. And then right under spring, I'm going to go with a smaller alpha stamp to stamp is here. So when I'm done stamping the title, I will notice that again, I have some space at the bottom of this box that needs to be filled in. I don't know why these little gaps in my boxes kind of bother me, and I feel like I need to fill in the gaps, make it a little bit more balanced within the box. So I try to find a stamp set that will complete my title, but also not take away from my title. So I go through my own stamps, and I found this older feature craft stamp that says love this season, and I'm going to use that to complete my title and fill in the box to balance everything out. I'm going to go ahead and stick down my journaling, and then I'm going to grab my stickers again and try to add a few stickers here and there. I just want to use my stickers to bring in some color to my photos and my spread. I love the sticker sheet from Everyday Explorers. It's just all about being outdoors and taking everything in. So it was the perfect sticker sheet to use on this spread. All right, I am done with layout number 2. Let's move on to my third one. So this story isn't a happy story. My father had to have surgery in April. He had surgery in February, and then he had to have another one in April. So I wanted to document that moment. As you guys know, I documented all the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. And I truly believe that it's important to document it all. Just because we are documenting our journey, it doesn't mean our journey is always happy. And when you see those hard moments, it will remind you that you were brave, that you were strong, that you were able to move on from that. Well, I like to have them in my journals. And sometimes, if you wait a few weeks or months, it's easier to document just because you've moved past it, if that makes sense. So I find it to be easier to document these hard moments a few months later or something. But anyways, I just had a few photos to document here. I wanted to add a few stickers here and there, and I thought I would use this larger sticker as my title. You can see I kind of changed my mind and move it to the right side. I don't know why it looked better on the right. So I'm going to go ahead and move it, and thank God it did not tear my paper. But I want to add a little something right next to this large sticker. So I decided to go through my stamp sets, and I found this older one from Callie Perky, and it had a doctor, and I think it said time to see the doctor or something like that. I thought it was cute, so I'm just going to stamp it on sticker paper, punch it out, and basically add it right next to that larger sticker. I do color it in as well, just to bring in some color to that corner, and basically call layout number 3 done. So let's move on to layout number 4, where I'm documenting little moments from April. I got to spend a lot of time with my parents, and I took them out for lunch and dinner a few times. So I have a few photos of that. I also got to spend time with my niece. Niece loves to come over because her and Aria just have a blast, and Aria loves her so much. So I just captured that moment as well. And I'm going to go ahead, stick down my photos and my journaling. And for my last box here, I'm thinking I want to add a card. As you guys know, I no longer do Project Life like the traditional Project Life, and I have loads of 3x4 cards, so I try really hard to use them throughout my Scrappy Spiral notebook. I do have to trim them down, but that's totally fine with me as long as I'm able to use them. And I really like this 1 day at a time card, just because it reminds me to take it 1 day at a time. My father had surgery, and now he's able to go out and enjoy life again. So I really like that card. I also do love that it's in yellow. So I'm going to go ahead and use that one to fill in my last box. Now, for my title, I was thinking to use this large stamp. I believe it's from Everyday Explorers, and it says Life Right Now. You can see me here looking at the stamp, thinking maybe I need to cut them apart and use them horizontally on my spread. But I don't know why I decide against it, and I think I'm just going to cover it up with washi tape and stamp one word at a time. But you're going to see I will struggle with this. My first word, life, does not stamp properly. And then I try the second word. I actually retry to stamp life and it doesn't work. But I move on and I try to stamp the second word and it doesn't stamp at all. I don't know what was going on, if the stamp together was not balanced enough, so it wasn't touching the paper. I'm not even sure. So at this point, I need to fix my boo-boo. It looks horrible. It needs to be covered up. So my go-to is just to go through my pattern paper and try to find something that I can use to cover up my boo-boo. So before I start looking through my pattern paper, I decide that I'm gonna cut apart my stamp. That's the only way it's gonna work for me, and I'm a-okay with doing this. I've shared this before. You do not ruin your stamp set if you trim them apart. You can always put them back together on your stamp block. But anyways, I found the perfect pattern paper. It's very subtle, and I can stamp on it, and the background won't take away from my title. And before I add it to my page, I'm going to stamp my title. So I make sure that it stamps properly. And I was able to add color to my pattern paper. So the pattern paper has these little bursts on it. And I thought I could color them in with some yellow and I thought I could use my yellow marker and color some of them in just to bring in some of the yellow from my card to my title. And it worked out really well, and actually it looks so much better than I thought it would be if I stamped it directly on my page, basically. So once I color in the little bursts, I'm just going to stick down my pattern paper and my title. And then I'm going to go through my stickers and add a few stickers to my photos just to bring in some interest and color to my page. Once I'm done adding my stickers, I'm going to move on to my last layout for April, and it's going to come together really quickly. I went with my daughter to the doctor's, and she finally got diagnosed. And so I only have this one picture, and I decided that I'm going to print it in a 6x8 to cover my whole page. I'm going to ignore the templates on my Scrappy Spiral notebook, and I do this a lot. You can really play with these notebooks. I'm just going to cover the whole page, and I'm going to add my journaling. So I wish I added the journaling in a different program where I just printed the journaling with the photo, but I totally forgot. And so it's a-okay. I just went ahead and printed it on clear sticker paper. I'm going to bring in some color with a sticker. I end up adding the didn't overthink this sticker and basically call it done. I was able to catch up and complete April in one sitting, which is pretty awesome. And this is why I love these Scrappy Spiral notebooks. I did also want to mention that my new Scrappy Spiral notebooks are coming soon. So definitely keep checking my shop. And obviously, I will be sharing a video very soon with the new Scrappy Spiral notebook covers. But anyways, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. And I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye.